He was not an owner, but he was at the C-level.
Okay, because I was going to say, if you go to work for an entrepreneurial organization and the person you're working for owns the company, they do have the right to dictate whatever they want to dictate.
Yes,
And
they
it's up
do.
to you. Yeah. And it's up to you to say, not for me. And so I think that that's a key factor and something that's really, really important. And so those are some of the things I think you almost need to look at to see whether or not that's something that falls into what you want to do. But I do agree that people have different work ethics and expect different things. And that, of course, has a lot to do with your progression in a company as well. So what would you say the lessons that you've learned that you want to share with others who are beginning their entrepreneurial journey?
Oh, wow. Well, a
Too
lot.
many to name, right?
I wrote this blog post about 9 lessons I learned as an entrepreneur. I think that one thing that I really say is that collaboration is key, and you just need to be very, very generous. I have found that I did a lot of stuff early on. For free, just to help people out, just to, I laughed because my first keynote I got a crystal bowl, and that crystal bowl, I mean, it's lovely, and it really is lovely, but, it's, you're used to getting an executive salary, and now I'm working for, pottery. But that job, though, because I did such a good job with the keynote, turned into many, many, many thousands of dollars of consulting. So I would say, but I didn't know that was going to happen at the time. And I would say helping my peers out who are in the leadership space, who I would say are competitors, really, on paper, but just to be generous, to show them how I built my social media brand. I spent half a day the other day with somebody who's in Maryland, and she is clearly a competitor, and I spent a day with her and her staff, really teaching her everything I knew about social media, because that was a Achilles heel for her. So I believe in karma. I think that's the first thing, that you should just be generous and not worry about is it tit for tat, and things will come back. And so that's one thing I would say. Another is, I think it's very, very important to have a good strategy of what you're going to do, and be extremely deliberate about where you invest your resources. Because there are going to be a million people coming out of the woodwork, mostly out of LinkedIn, trying to sell you things to make your business grow. And every one of them sounds like something you ought to try to do. And if you did all of that, you would be broke. And so, knowing what your plan is first, and then deciding who do I need to bring in strategically to help, versus reacting to all these people who are telling you you need their services, would be another. And then I would say stay scrappy. I mean, I've never worked so hard in my life. I've worked pretty much 7 days a week. I'm up before anybody, and it can't stay that way forever. But I know that I call it the season of planting bulbs, right? Some of this stuff takes a lot of time. A lot of the business that I'm doing now, I started, developing and nurturing over a year ago. And you just have to stay at it, and you have to keep planting these bulbs so that you can harvest them. And so I think those are my biggest bits of advice.
Well, I always say when entrepreneurs say, "Oh, I'm going to open my own business," I think you're going to work harder than you did in your old business, your old job. And some people have just bought themselves a job. That's all they've done is bought themselves a job. It may be their job and their control and their business, but it's another job. So you've got to be very careful about it. You're absolutely right. And let me ask you, this competitor in Maryland that you taught this to, did you do that out of the kindness of your heart, or did you charge them for it?
I did not charge her, but we have this little mastermind group. There's 4 of us, and we just have agreed that we're going to help each other with their business. And so I don't know how she'll help me, but I know she will. And so once a month we get together and we share best practices, and then we call each other if there's something in particular that we need. And we just believe that a high tide will rise all boats. So that if we all get better, and we're really. We have different levels of experience, but we all are we're kind of equally balanced, if that makes sense. It's not like one person is really less experienced or able to charge less than the others. So I think we're really helping each other to grow and develop, and trusting that there'll be enough work to go around.
Fabulous. That's great. Well, now this new book that you're writing, what inspired you to write it? Winning Well, A Manager's Guide to Getting Results Without Losing Your Soul.
Yeah. So, well, it's a lot of the work. So I've been blogging for 3 years, and so I have almost 700 blog posts, and so I've always been writing towards a book like this, which is how do you lead with confidence and humility, and have the courage to say the right things to the right people, to treat your employees with deep dignity and respect, so that you can go to bed and sleep at night. And because I can't tell you now how many people will say to me, I feel like I'm losing my soul. I mean, that's where that came from. So I was working on trying to figure out how I was going to pull this all together into a book, and I was talking to David Dye, who is now my co-author on this, and he says, I'm writing that book too. We just laughed, and we started to compare notes about what we were really trying to accomplish, and we realized how closely aligned our messages were. And so we have been collaborating to write this book, which has been a great deal of fun to work with someone to challenge the thinking, and I know it's better because we've done it together.
Well, that's fabulous. So where do you see your business in 5 years, Karin?
I would like to have, right now I would say I have more consulting work than speaking work, and I'd like to flip that. I would like to be out on the main stage, doing major conferences more frequently, and have the book be a bestseller, and have more multimedia courses out there. So those are just really, that's the trajectory I believe that I am on.
Well, that sounds great. Now, how would people get in touch with you?
Okay, my website is letsgrowleaders.com, and my email is Karin, Karin, .Hurt @letsgrowleaders.com.
Okay, so letsgrowleaders.com, and her email, Karin, but be careful, Karin Hurt, Hurt, @letsgrowleaders.com. Well, we have just about 2 minutes left. Is there anything else that you would like to tell our audience that we have not covered or talked about?
Oh, I would just say, if you're on an entrepreneurial journey, it's a great ride, and I would encourage you, no matter what level of business you're in, to always lead with confident humility. That's what I would say.
Oh, confidence and humility, those wonderful words that don't always turn out the way you want them to. It's interesting because you do have to have confidence. You have to have confidence for your team. You have to have confidence for your prospects and customers. And then you have to have confidence, especially when you want to do a lot of keynotes. You've got to have the confidence when you get on stage. You know what you're talking about, and people are better off by having seen you. So that's all very, very important and a part of this. So absolutely. Well, I want to thank you so much for being with us today, Karin. I'm sure my audience learned a great deal. Go to letsgrowleaders.com. Look for her. When is the book coming out? Oh, you said in the spring. Is that right?
The book is coming out in April. It'll be available for pre-sale in December. And the course actually launched today. So our timing is good. Yeah.
Well, everything is wonderful. That sounds great. Well, thanks so much for being with us, Karin. And go to her website. I mean, she's an interesting person with a lot of background and knowledge, and I think you can learn a lot from reading her books. So letsgrowleaders.com, and you'll find it there. Thanks a lot, Karin.
Oh, thanks so much for having me.